What about Noah's Ark?
Noah's Ark. Yes.
Well, atheists often claim there's no reason to think there was a worldwide flood. Therefore, this is clearly just a...
Right. Yeah. Well, you get into all kinds of things there. There's two schools of, first of all, I don't think it's an option for us as Christians to just dismiss the flood and say, oh, this is a myth. Okay. If you look in the Catechism of the Catholic Church treats Noah and his covenant as real, okay, and talks about the covenant of Noah remaining in force, okay. So, I don't think it's an option to just dismiss it. Now, if we're going to take Noah seriously and the flood seriously, there's basically two options. There's a local flood option,
right, and
there's a global flood option, right? So if you're going to go with a local flood, one of the best candidates is the inundation of the Black Sea Basin, which is thought to have happened around 5000 BC, where that narrow strip of land that's now near Istanbul collapsed and that whole area was radically flooded. Now, some have put that forward, and it's in about the right place of the world to fit with the account of Noah. So possibly that. And so in that case, you have a massive, albeit regional flood that's described in kind of hyperbolic language in the Bible, and you can kind of work with that. No, I'm personally not totally satisfied with that. If you want to go with a global flood, then you basically have to...
Why aren't you satisfied with the local flood option?
Well, because you don't need an ark then. You could just migrate to high ground and stuff like that. So it doesn't make... the ark really... kind of demands a global flood. So, so if you're going to go with a global flood, then you need to reinterpret the geological column. And there's reasons to believe that a lot of the geological column was laid down very quickly.
That?
Geological column is everything that's under our feet right here in Ohio. It's like 2 miles of sedimentary rock all laid down by seawater. Do you ever think about that?
No.
And it covers the whole continent. So you go to the Grand Canyon, it's all exposed there because, a post-Ice Age lake collapsed and tore out the Grand Canyon. And so you can see all the layers down like a layer cake. But all this sedimentary rock that was deposited when oceans covered the entire continent of North America. Oh, dang. That's a lot of mud. That's a lot of debris being laid down. Not only that, but in many of these layers, you have entire layers where all these fish or shellfish or nautiloids is one that particularly comes to mind. There's a whole layer of frozen nautiloids, which are these long, very pointy squid-like creatures, kind of long shell like that, kind of like a long cone. And they're very speedy creatures, and they're all frozen, and the mud got laid down and they're frozen in time. So this is something that happened very fast. We're not talking about sediment filtering down and like burying them on the bottom of the ocean. A lot of the fossils that we have in the geological column are just frozen time, frozen instant. We have fossils of one fish in the act of eating another fish, or of a fish giving birth, and then frozen there, and so on. So there's a lot of evidence of catastrophic, virtually instantaneous fossilization in the geological column, and young Earth creationists, those who really take the global flood seriously, point to this kind of data as evidence that points to a global catastrophic flood. So
these young Earth folks, would they say that Noah brought kangaroos on the ark, or that kangaroos were created after, or they evolved from different creatures?
Yeah, probably no. They would. I would assume they would say that they were on the ark. Yeah.
It just sounds bullshit to me. When you say that, it just sounds completely implausible. Why people go with, how big does this ark have to be? How many animals is that?
Well, there's a lot of the variation that we see in species can be explained by genetic decay, genetic entropy. Okay. So, for example, all the great cats can interbreed. So, depending on how you define a species, you might say they're all one species. And, so it could be that, all the major cats derived by genetic entropy from, originally very large, something like a saber-toothed tiger, kind of animal, So I don't know, this is, I'm getting all to, this is out of my, you're getting me out of my lane, I'm just speculating. Folks can, that's not really my wheelhouse.
That's okay.
Folks can go look at,
but these are questions that atheists throw at us. So it's nice to know that there's a couple of options that the Christian might take. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.